So today, we're gonna take you step by step on how to know if your transfers are perfectly baked.
That's right, because we get this question a lot. What temperature should I bake my powder at? And there's not a definitive answer for that, because each oven shaker, each heat press, each conveyor belt is different. And also the temperature that you put on the heating element doesn't have anything to do to the actual temperature that reaches the transfer to bake the powder.
So the only way for you to ultimately know is by testing it. And today, as we show you this process, we're gonna be using our own DTF powder.
Now, while Logan is setting up the machine, I'm gonna show you how a proper bake transfer should look like. So as you can see, it has an orange peel look and feel. If you rub it with your finger pretty hard, it doesn't lift from the actual film. All right, that means that it is properly baked. We're gonna show you what happens when it is underbaked and also when it is overbaked. All right, so Logan right now is preparing the files. We're using a generic DTF printer, but the most important thing that you have to look for on the printer is the print heads. All right, in this case, we're using the Epson i3200, which is one of the best ones right now for DTF. We also have other DTF printers because we have to make sure that the products work with everything out there in the market. This printer actually has two heads, one for the color and one for the white. First, prints the colors, and then it prints the white on top.
So one of the most important things in DTF printing is making sure that your nozzle checks come out absolutely perfect. So you would come on in here, and we're gonna check the colors and the white. So you wanna make sure that every single color and the whites have absolute coverage and no gaps, because you want your DTF prints to come out absolutely perfect.
Now this is how it looks when your nozzle check is not perfect. You can see banding. That's because the white nozzles were failing. Now the transfers are already made, but now we have to go ahead and put them under the shaker. So we're gonna put it at 123 degrees. These are the perfect settings for this scenario that we have here with our temperature, our humidity, and this specific shaker oven. So we're gonna go ahead and try to push that all the way through. But I'm gonna show you a little trick that we do here, because we don't wanna be forcing it manually to push it, because then the speed that is gonna pass through the heating element is gonna be different, you know, maybe a little bit faster, a little bit slower. So what we're gonna do is print a file, and we have it right here. It's called end of day file, and it's basically just a black line. All right, we're gonna go ahead and send it to print. But as you can see, the design is going down at the same pace. So this means that when it's done printing the entire line, the design is already gone through the entire heat press and come out right here perfectly baked. Now we're gonna be putting on our powder. So the good thing about this powder is that it is very fine. As you can see here, the powder is extremely fine and it doesn't stick to anything. So, you know, this is gonna work amazingly. So let's just put a little bit in there. Just like that. And now we have to activate the shaker. I'm gonna put it pretty fast. If you can see here, looking here, you see how it's shaking? Well, that's gonna make sure that there's no residue powder around the film. Now we have three options here. This one is perfectly baked. It has the orange peel. This one only has the powder. And this one is baked, but it had the bad nozzle check, so it has some banding. We're gonna see how they all perform once we print them. But just for a moment, since this only has powder, I'm gonna put it in the oven just for a second, just to kind of cure it just a little bit, but it's gonna still be underbaked, just for a few seconds. Let's just put it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, as you can see, Here, this feels like sandpaper when you rub it. I can actually get the powder on my finger. Okay, so this is obviously underbaked. And if I were to scratch it, not scratch it, but rub it with the finger, you see, it comes out of the film. No, the little details. Now, on this one, which is perfectly baked, doesn't matter how much, this is from the previous one, it doesn't matter how much I rub it, you know, it's not gonna lift from the film. So we're gonna test one by one. Let's see. First, the good one. 300 degrees for 15 seconds. You can put a little bit lower temp or a little bit higher temp. Also, you can press it for just 5 or 8 seconds, but we like to go with 300 degrees and 15 seconds. So let's see how this is gonna peel. Okay, so that peeled just perfect. All right, now let's go ahead and check the one that has the banding. All right, let's check how this is gonna peel. So now remember that this one, since it had banding on the white ink, it doesn't have enough white coverage. Okay, some parts are gonna have more coverage, some parts are gonna have a little bit less. So let's see if this one peels. Well, it did peel, still peel, but look, we lost a little bit of the details. As you can see there, some of these little details have been lost. And you can see the banding on the print. All right, so it actually peeled fine, but you know, with banding, nothing looks good. Now, this is the one that is obviously super underbaked. Like the powder is still fresh there. We're gonna see how this works. Let's see. Well, it also peeled, but that's because this film is amazing and also the powder is amazing. But normally it will not peel perfectly. In fact, as you can see, it is not as crisp and as sharp as this one, the one that was perfectly baked. Now, also, maybe we're gonna do a second press and then we're gonna do a stress test just to see which one will perform better when stretching, when rubbing it, and also, you know, we can predict if it's gonna have good wash fastness or not. So the second press is only for 5 seconds, I went a little bit over. And we're using the finishing sheet. This is a texturizing finishing sheet that adds a little bit of texture, so it improves the hand feel of the print, and also it increases the washability. So now we're gonna go ahead and test. Let's wait for it to cool down a little bit. We're gonna do a stretch test on the one that had the powder very poorly baked. I wish I could show you that it was cracking, but it is not. All right, now let's see this one that has banding, that didn't have enough white ink. No, it is not. It is not cracking. And then this one, of course, this one is not gonna crack because this is perfectly done. So, well, I mean, it does make a difference, you know, the powder. You have to bake it properly. Now, if you're using extremely high quality ingredients, extremely high quality film, and also fine powder like the one that we sell, you know, it is a little bit more forgiving. You can underbake maybe a little bit more, but, you know, try to always have this look and feel on your powder. Here, let's get closer to this. You can see here, see the orange peel. All right, now if you rub it, it doesn't flick off the transfer. No, that is how you want it to look.
So guys, as you saw in that demonstration, it is honestly a perfect testament of how well our powder works with our Turbo Peel DTF film. Usually it would crack, peel, tear. You want to make sure that your designs are always cured and make sure you get that orange peel texture and not a sandy, grainy texture. This is Logan from DTF Power, signing out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you later.